they have went so far in their hypocrisy and lies that is so transparent and obvious for anyone who is a normal, decent, functioning human individuals. You don't have to be Albert Einstein to see through their lies. So, every child of Gaza, all the children in Gaza, or most of the children in Gaza, present emotional numbness, present suicidal thoughts, night terrors. This is not limited to Gaza. This is a stain on the soul of humanity, in the collective unconscious, in the collective soul that we all share. A stain, a disgusting travesty is taking place. The crimes of children in Gaza are a crime against your soul, my good friend. There is a time when you just have to admit the fact that there is something that needs to be addressed, and if you don't do it, you might as well vanish, disappear in a cloud of shame and cowardice.
What happens when the guardians leave the gates open? The most surveilled border on planet Earth, and they couldn't see this poorly trained, poorly equipped Islamic jihadis crossing 5 kilometers into Israel. They couldn't see it, no. These festival goers, these psychedelic heads, they were the scapegoats. They were the beginning of the unfolding of the greatest, most grotesque genocide in recent history. One that no one speaks about. How can I speak about the universal mind and about the transgenerational ancestral trauma when we have a genocide unfolding in front of our eyes today? How can we post anything on social media about our existence? How can we be casual about this? What if they were white children? What if the Holocaust unfolding in front of your eyes on social media today? Would you say anything about it? Would you do anything about it? It's just so strange that the Jewish population who were subjugated, who were destroyed, who were killed throughout the Holocaust, who were slain, are the ones perpetrating the biggest, greatest massacre going on. Those children are innocent. Those children's blood are a stain on our souls, on our very existences. I am ashamed with humanity. I am ashamed with our silence. I am ashamed with the Western world who is ongoingly supporting this genocide. This world, this system has lost any credibility. It went down the drain alongside the blood of the thousands of children who have been killed in the name of hate.
Okay, here we go. Aloha yo. This is the first episode, the first Altera Roots episode in English. Today I will speak about transgenerational trauma and the collective mind. While I was organizing my material, or well, my sort of contingency plan for this episode, I realized that if I wouldn't speak about the most important thing going on the planet today, especially because it's so relevant to the subject of collective mind and transgenerational trauma, if I wouldn't speak about the ongoing slaughter and genocide that is going on planet Earth right now, broadcasted live on all social media platforms, then I would just be another one of the hypocrites who speak about the healing of what? The healing of the individual? How can we speak about the healing of the individual while we have thousands, tens of thousands of children who have been killed or severely damaged in so many ways since October 7, 2023? If you say nothing about the ongoing slaughter in Gaza, you're not being politically correct. Altera is not politically correct. Altera is about going from trauma to transcendence. When we speak about trauma, we cannot speak about the individual trauma without addressing the collective trauma. Right now, in the collective psyche of humankind, there is a gigantic festering wound that no one speaks about. Why? Because we have become complacent in our comfort. We have lost connection to the depths of the human soul and what it is to be a human. How can I continue to post videos about anything? How can I speak about healing? How can I speak about trauma? How can I ever open my mouth and speak about anything and still look myself into the mirror and respect myself when I am not addressing the ongoing slaughter of the Gazan population under the far-right Israeli regime? Let's go back to October 7, 2023. Now, I'm going to throw a wild perspective on this. A perspective which hit me suddenly, but towards which I did a lot of research and reading. Let me tell you something. Let me ask you something, dear viewer. Before we go into collective trauma, before we go into the universal mind, before we speak about all these Alteran educational concepts, let's speak about the ongoing slaughter, the ongoing genocide that happens in 2025, broadcasted live, and that no one really speaks about. We're just carrying on our lives like nothing is really happening. Imagine the Holocaust happened before our eyes on social media, and most of the individuals walking on earth knew about it and said nothing about it. Let me tell you something, dear friends. Silence, through your silence, through our collective silence, we're being accomplices in this genocide. Let's go back to October 7, 2023. 5 kilometers away from the border with Gaza, on Israeli soil, there was a PSYTRANCE festival. PSYTRANCE is all about psychedelic experiences. You're probably wondering how this is relevant to Altera. It's incredibly relevant. Altera represents a new paradigm of human consciousness. These people who were present at this festival, the PSYTRANCE festival, were people like me and probably you, people who are more inclined towards the transcendent, towards ecstatical type experiences, towards being a human rather than being a cog, a little spinning wheel in the social colossus. So we have these people who gathered for a PSYTRANCE festival 5 kilometers away from Gaza. And then we have arguably the most technologically advanced army on planet Earth, with the most advanced surveillance systems present in existence. Israelis, they, apart from having Mossad, that everyone knows about Mossad, they have another 4 or 5 intelligence agencies that monitor every single step and movement in Gaza. They have advanced AI backed up drones, software recognition, face recognition software, and a gigantic database. Every single square kilometer in Gaza is being monitored. How did this poorly equipped, not very well trained radicals managed to walk for 5 kilometers or fly for 5 kilometers on their paragliders without being intercepted or seen by the most powerful and technologically advanced army on planet Earth? I will tell you how. They knew about it. They just let it happen. I don't know if the Israeli coordinated this, or if they knew that Hamas is building towards this and they just let it happen, in the same way in which Pearl Harbor represented the perfect motive for the American public to support America's entrance in the Second World War. That's not very important. What's important is the Israelis, they knew about the fact that Hamas is preparing to attack the people at this festival. Maybe they were even part of it. There is a video of Netanyahu from the 1990s where he states publicly, very openly, that Hamas, the existence of Hamas, is necessary for Israel's plans in a way or another. So we have a few hundred Hamas militants, poorly trained, crossing the border, advancing 5 kilometers inland in the most surveilled area of the planet, and then killing 350 innocent festival goers and kidnapping way more. Let's think about it for a second. These individuals who were present at the musical festivals, they were psychedelic enthusiasts, humans who were the epithomes, the images, the prototypes of the individuals who are creating change in society, in the sense that there is this demographic of people like me and you. If you're watching this, you're probably one of them, who started seeing through the travesty and through the degeneracy of the materialistic paradigm that we live into, and they started deviating from the norm. They started deviating from the main agenda, from the main discourse. They started trying to be closer to the archaic values of life and spiritual experiences and spending time as a community in celebration and ecstatic dance and music. So if I would be a bloodthirsty far-right minister or prime minister in Israel, and I would know that Hamas is about to attack this demographic, which is the exact opposite of what the mainstream Israeli is. They are the Zionists especially, they are fried, they are seized by an ideology, by a very rigid dogma and set of behaviors. They are fundamental, humans who are part of a fundamental religious denomination, they are known to be very poor in their thinking and in their acceptance of others. So the Israeli government, the far-right Israeli government, found out about the imminent Hamas attack on these hippies partying in the middle of the desert. And they were like, should we stop it? Or should we allow Hamas to kill these dissidents? All of them were anti-government. I bet you 99% of the people going there were heavily anti-government. So we can get rid of these dissidents and then have the best excuse to set in motion our grand plan, which they spoke about it for ages. They saw Gaza as being this, don't believe me, do your research, as being the new French Riviera. So the Israelis always wanted to seize Gaza, right? And this offered them the best excuse to do so. So after 7th of October, I think the official numbers, which are very far from truth, is that around 80,000 Gazans have been killed, with many more under the rubble. More than 60% of the people killed are children and women. How can we speak about anything else right now? How can the televisions broadcast anything else? How can we, as a mainstream society, have reached this level of degeneracy and travesty? How can we follow anything, any other subjects on planet Earth? How can we speak about anything? How can we pose as being happy and content? I feel like an absolute hypocrite because I've done the exact same, but I'm analyzing my behavior and everyone else's behavior. So I am part of the degeneracy. But let's speak frankly about it. We have a live stream genocide committed by a far-right Israeli government in the land of Gaza with the support of the American taxpayers' money, including myself. So the United States, which has, in a way, represented an epitome of ethics, you know, I'm not saying that the American government has done okay in the past. I mean, you know, warmonger, bloodthirsty criminals, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, they completely annihilated any form of balance and peace and a chance of normalcy in the Middle East. But at the same time, the American empire was seen as being on the side of the good guys. Come on guys, Hollywood, you know, Saving Private Ryan. You guys helped us out in the Second World War. You know, otherwise we might have spoken Deutsch by now, right? But the most disappointing move that any political leader has ever undertook in the States is supporting the genocidal regime in Israel right now. I do believe from all my heart that Donald Trump is being blackmailed in a way by the Israelis. They have something on him. I saw Trump's demeanor and body language when he met Netanyahu, and he was defeated. He was subdued. He was submitted. Netanyahu was so in control at the meeting, while Donald bullies everyone normally. Think about his meeting with Zelensky and think about his meeting with other world leaders. The fact that America is putting pressure on the International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court, who have released a arrest warrant for war crimes on Benjamin Netanyahu. The fact that the American empire, the American industrial, military and political sphere, colossus, is supporting this bloodthirsty criminal, and they are making pressures at the highest levels in the world of politics in order for Netanyahu and his bloodthirsty officials, high-ranked military officials, to continue the genocide and not be brought in front of justice. This is absolutely disgusting. This is a travesty. Where is the normalcy in this world? We live in a world of perversion. We live in a world of lies and degeneracy. We are being told that, you know, bloodthirsty Vladimir Putin, which he is. He is. What's happening in Ukraine is another stain on the soul of humanity, on the soul of, on the anima of this world. But that is a war. We're talking about a genocide. We're talking about deliberately targeting women and children. We're talking about every single child in Gaza is traumatized heavily. Every single child in Gaza needs mental support. But before anything, they need food to survive. Over 20,000 children in Gaza are in imminent danger of dying from famine. These bloodthirsty vampires, they have blocked any aid for entering Gaza on frail reasons like we don't want to feed Hamas. Those people are heavy racists. They have went so far in their hypocrisy and lies that is so transparent and obvious for anyone who is a normal, decent, functioning human individuals. You don't have to be Albert Einstein to see through their lies. So, every child of Gaza, all the children in Gaza, or most of the children in Gaza, present emotional numbness, present suicidal thoughts, night terrors. This is not limited to Gaza. This is a stain on the soul of humanity, in the collective unconscious, in the collective soul that we all share. A stain, a disgusting travesty is taking place. The crimes of children in Gaza are a crime against your soul, my good friend. The crimes against these poor children are a stain on us as a civilization. What can we do about it? We can speak about it. We can pretend. We can stop pretending that nothing is happening. We all have a voice. There was a Greek philosopher that at some point said that when humans will stop being interested in the affairs of the state, in the government, in the way that the country is being ruled, that is the time when immense degeneracy, that is the time of sin, that is the time when we will have lost our power as individuals to effect anything in this society. True pleasure, you know, everyone's got their own crutches. They come from work, they drink a beer, they smoke a joint, they watch some TV. So through cheap, meaningless pleasure, humans have become complacent and have started accepting anything from their government. Anything. Poison in water, poison in the food, the destruction of natural environments, the unconscious, the scale of the unconscious racist propaganda that is going on. What if those children would have been white? What if these children would have been white? There is an ongoing slaughter in Gaza. Altera's mission is to help the individual move from a trauma state to a transcendental state, where he can become part of the all, start dancing in the grand flux of life that is all around us. A lot of my friends have asked me, can you make a video in English? And this is my first video in English. If you have any form of love or respect for what I'm doing, become a voice that speaks against genocide. Even if no one listens to you, I can sure tell you that the souls of the poor children of Gaza who are being shot in the genitals, shot in the head, killed in every imaginable way every day, their souls will listen. Transgenerational trauma is a real thing. The collective mind of humanity is a real thing. Our greatest sin is being accomplices in this genocide through our silence. Do not be silent. There is a time when you just have to admit the fact that there is something that needs to be addressed, and if you don't do it, you might as well vanish, disappear in a cloud of shame and cowardice. A sea of silence, a painful, agonizing, silent desperation. The fact that no one speaks about the live broadcasted genocide that is taking place right now in Gaza has many reasons, but the first and the most important reason is the psychopathology of the average. You're looking around, you see no one is saying anything, you dull yourself with pleasure, and you just don't care. This generation of humans who are watching a live stream genocide have as much blood on their hands as any Israeli soldier who is targeting the genitalia of a young child today, tomorrow, or the day after, as they've done so many times before. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first Altera video in which I speak in English. The purpose of this episode was to speak about transgenerational trauma and the collective mind. But how can we speak about transgenerational trauma and the collective mind without addressing the live stream genocide that is happening in front of our eyes today? How? How can we? Imagine those children were white. Imagine.